Hey guys, alright, so continuing on, I know that some people might really be bored with me talking about Disney and the different parks, but I think it's going to help somebody out there that might be researching, going to Disney or maybe making a trip for the first time. So I'm just trying to get this over with and out. I only have one more part to do, and that's it. So we'll be done. We'll be getting on our regular programming. All right, so the park that I want to talk about is Hollywood Studios. This park is the one that has the Star Wars Galaxy Edge. So that's the newest addition to the park. And then, of course, it has a revamp of the Toy Story Land. Now, okay, and then, of course, it has Fantasmic, which is the show that has recently come back. So let's just say, all right, so I looked up gluten-free options at every single park basically that I could get my hands on, and Hollywood Studios was one that I did look it up. And to be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of gluten-friendly options here. They did have some tots. It's like tater tots, but it's like nachos. It's like tachos. They call it tachos. It was all right. I mean, I wasn't impressed with it. I think the breakfast version might have been the best um, for that, but it was kind of like a Frito pie with Fritos and tater tots and chili. But I opted out the Fritos because like we had a lot of Fritos on the trip over, so I was like Fritoed out. But I mean, it was okay. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't the best, but it was just an option that was suggested by the Disney, some other Disney vloggers out there. And then they had a teriyaki bowl that was also gluten friendly. That one was really big, it was huge. We also have a vegetarian. My sister's vegetarian, so we opted for the tofu version instead of the chicken version. And I would say it's really good. It has, it was the standard teriyaki sauce and vegetables, and it was enough to share. So it wasn't what I really, really wanted, but everywhere else was booked up. Even places that were like you didn't have to have a reservation at that time uh, became reservation only because there was just too many people in the park and everybody wanted to eat. And so, yeah, so some of the dining options became not an option for us to eat at. But so, Star Wars, I will have to say, it's a really cool land. It's really neat. Um, is it worth going? Yeah, no. I mean, I like Star Wars a lot. Um, they do a really good job. Like Disney does really well when they have a theme and they just totally run with it. And I love that. I love how they just put so much detail into a set, and you're just basically there. You're engulfed around in it. So the characters do go around, but it's kind of like you're not able to talk to them because of their character handler is always there. They're always watching. So Ray and Chewbacca were like going around and they were just inspecting the ship. And so you basically like they were acting, and if you wanted to approach them, you had to approach them with like something to say. So I didn't really feel comfortable approaching them. The little kids really approached them, and they were talking to the little kids more so than adults. I asked the handler if I could take a picture with Chewbacca and Ray, And she pretty much dismissed me and said, well, they're not really taking pictures right now. They're really just inspecting the ship. So I was like, okay. So it wasn't something that I was used to. The stormtroopers, like, they were out and about early that day. Um, and they were messing around with people, but mainly they were messing around with little kids. They weren't really messing around with adults. So I missed that opportunity. I wish I had gotten a picture moment with them, but I did not. Um, so the Rise of the Resistance ride kept shutting down multiple times during the day. As soon as we got on the ride, it shut down. Like, not on the ride, but as soon as we got to that one part, it shut down. And then we had to come back, and hopefully it wouldn't shut down a lot. A lot of rides kept shutting down. Like, the most popular rides kept shutting down periodically throughout the day. So this is something that, you know, Disney is experiencing a lot with their rides. I never experienced this much shutdowns. I have like something that's trying to make its way. Anyway, um, but yeah, Disney's been experiencing that, I think, because of so many people and the ride just going and going and going. I mean, it's bound to break down with that many people and the ride just continually like going and going and going. So, yes. Now, Star Wars Galaxy Edge, um, they do have like this little cantina that you can go eat at that requires a reservation. My sister and her husband did that at the very end of the night. So I can't really speak upon that, but it looked really cool and they got to eat and drink some really cool food. As far as the rest of the park goes, this is an easy park. It's really just kind of, you know, a one and done thing. You really don't need to spend a whole lot of time here. I mean, like the Toy Story park is really small. It's really short. There's not much to do there. So basically the main draw to this park is going to be the Star Wars Galaxy Edge, and that's basically it. So Fantasmic has two shows during the day or at night. It has one show at 8:30 and then the other show, I believe, at 9. This show is like one of the most hyped over shows in Disney. Like, anyone and everyone is talking about Fantasmic. Honestly, I didn't think it was that great of a show. I know I'm gonna be such a Debbie Downer. I just didn't think it was amazing as everyone is basically hyping it over. I think you can see it possibly on YouTube if you can find it on YouTube. The show of its entirety, it was incredibly loud, like seriously loud. Um, and I think it just went too long. It just had some like places in it where I was just like, all right, I'm over it. But that's just me being like very critical because just the magic, I guess, has really just like dissipated for me for Disney. But yeah, the only part that I liked about the whole entire show of Fantasmic was the Lion King part. That was it. That was the coolest part of the whole entire show. Everything else was just like, ah. And the end was fun because the big showboat comes out and it's all the characters, and you know, it's fun to see all of them. And so, yeah, and then the princesses all each had like their time to shine on their individual boats, and they got to, you know, dance with their prince, and it was really cute. And yeah, But could I have missed Fantasmic and done some other things throughout the park during that time? Absolutely, yes. Again, the same thing with Hollywood, with all the other parks, is it's really jam-packed busy with families in the very, very early morning. So you kind of want to just, we ended up waiting in lines for rides that, you know, later on were just walk-ons by the afternoon. By the afternoon to evening, they were literally walk-ons. So it kind of sucks because you buy a park ticket, $150 park ticket for a whole day, and really you only get to use half of it because you know you're spent waiting in lines, and you could get there later in the day, and then you don't really have to wait in those lines as long. The Tower of Terror actually was the longest wait all day. It was basically, it never went under 70 minutes. Like, it was constantly at a 70-minute to a 90-minute wait. But yeah, so that was our experience at Hollywood. I'm glad I got to go. I'm glad I got to see the Star Wars Galaxy Edge. It's a really cool, neat part of the park, but yeah. So Hollywood is great. Again, if you could do a park hopper pass, I would totally park hop it. But yeah, I would do this. I would split this and Animal Kingdom together. So like I would do this park first during the day, and then actually I would do this at night, and then do Animal Kingdom during the day, during the morning, and then you got two parks in one. So there you go. Because really all you really need to do is Star Wars Galaxy Edge. And the rest of it's just kind of like blah, you know, shops and everything and eating. So yeah, anyway, that's my take on Hollywood, and I will see y'all in the next video.
The Animal Kingdom's the only park they said you don't have to have.
That is so cool.
Dad!